All right, we gotta make sure we're both in the shot. Okay, so this is gonna be just a quick little recap of what we've been doing this week. The first week is never that exciting. It's really about establishing the fundamentals of a marker system. So what a marker is, it is a cue or a word or a sound that marks the exact moment in time that we like something, and it announces the arrival of a reward, food, toy, praise, whatever. Whatever's motivating for your dog. So for Max right now, that's food, and that's great. So prior to training, these sounds, these cues, they don't mean anything to him. So what we've been doing is establishing or conditioning him to understand that every time he hears these cues or sounds, food happens. So again, it doesn't seem very exciting, but it's very important that he understands these markers so that I can use them to shape behaviors as we progress the training. So we have a couple different markers. The biggest one that I'm using right now is the click, and I like the clicker because its tone is always consistent. It never changes with how I feel about a situation. If I don't like it, if I do like it, if I'm kind of frustrated or anything like that, it always means the same thing, but it can announce different amounts of food, which kind of builds up a little bit of excitement in the dog and Max not knowing what he could potentially get. So every time I click, I sometimes give one piece of treat, a couple pieces of treat, a whole handful of treats. He never is able to predict what I'm going to give him. Excuse you. He's very frustrated that I'm not feeding him right now. I really use the clicker to shape new behaviors and to build enthusiasm. I guess I should say the other forms of markers that I use are going to be words. So we have good and okay. And right now they kind of mean the same thing. Good is going to be something that I use to build duration, which I'm starting to play around with now. So when I lure him into behavior, so I guess I should back up with that. Luring is having treats in my hand, Maxie, and having him follow my hand around to kind of lure him into position. Good. When he goes into position, I say the marker good, and then I offer him a treat. Good. Okay. Very nice. So good is, or excuse me, when I put him into behavior, I want him to kind of learn to remain in that behavior, regardless of if I move away or things like that. If I adjust, if I stand up, if I walk away, I want him to eventually learn that he has to remain in behavior until he's prompted to come out of behavior. So that is where our terminal marker comes in, which is okay. So when I use the marker good, I'm bringing food to him so that he stays in behavior. No. And then when I'm ready for him to come out of behavior, I say the word okay, and I move my hand away for him to follow to come up out of behavior. So that is where I'm starting to build the difference in the two right now. And I'm really starting to kind of get him used to me moving away. So when I lure him into behavior, Max, good. I'm starting to do things like move my hand away, good. Standing up, good. And I want to vary the amount of time between each rep, good, so that it's not predictable, good. Something else that I want to be noted, okay, is that I am giving the cue, whether it's a clicker, whether it's good, whether it's okay, I'm making that marker happen before I suggest food or movement. I want him responding to those cues, those markers, and not me moving around. So when I say okay, I want it to be okay, then I move. I don't want it to be okay, because then he starts responding to my movements, and that is the big thing where I want him to remain in behavior regardless of me moving around. So he has to become neutral to those movements until he hears the word okay. Starting to play around a little bit with no or as infraction markers. I'm not really quite there yet. I want him, the criteria is pretty low right now. I want him getting used to going into behavior and getting rewarded before I start putting too much structure and rules on it, because I don't want to kind of squash enthusiasm in his behaviors. We'll get there. I'm just starting to name things. And I'm not going to share them just yet because I want to make sure that he's consistently going into behavior before I really throw a lot of words on them, commands, because I want to avoid disassociation. I don't want him thinking that sit means something entirely different than what I want it to mean, or a down, which the down is something that we really, what are you doing? Good boy. The down is something we've really been struggling with. He's just starting to get it. I'll see if I can get him to do it right here. So I'm luring him. Good. Oh my goodness. As soon as he shows me the behavior, I mark with the word good, pull my hand away, good. Good. I'm waiting for him to look up at me and not my hand. Nope. So there we go. That is where I say the word no and I put him back into behavior, but I don't give him anything. Okay. And then he can come out of behavior. He's a good boy. Another one we've been working on, if it's in the shot, it is our place. Good. And out. Very nice, buddy. Out. And that is, the out is something that I'm using the word while teaching him the behavior, just because I want him to get used to when he hears the word out, he gets used to showing a lot of movement. And that's something that I'm going to use for jumping, for making him move away from resources, things like that. If he ever steals something and you want to go get it, I don't like to be put in a situation where I have to reach in and take something. I like to say out and the dog leaves the resource for me to take. So yeah, baby steps for now, starting to work on his pre-heel, showing him where I want him to be when we're walking together. Next week is going to be more so about establishing a better response to leash pressure. So right now he pulls a lot, and I think that he's kind of gotten the hang that if he pulls, he gets to go where he wants to go. So I want to show him the correct response to leash pressure. There we go. So as soon as he moves into the pressure, I counter with relieving the pressure and mark that moment. So I want to show him that when he pulls, the answer is not to continue to pull, but to kind of come back to me or move into the pressure. And then I can use that to shape more behaviors and to help him go into behaviors, or if he comes out of them prematurely, I can use the leash pressure to put him back into his behaviors. What's over there? What do you want so bad over there? All right, so that's week one. It's not very exciting, but I definitely want to make sure that all of these things are well understood by him before moving on to more advanced things. I've been doing most of our training in the training room and a little bit out in the, when you go into the main building, there's the little like overpass thing, the porch, I guess. We've been doing a lot of stuff there too. So kind of getting him used to working and learning in low distractions, but new environments. I think that's gonna be really good for him. Hey.